Your tunnel has been destroyed. Place another.
MP40 or PPSH, which one do you prefer and why? I can already tell you that the top pinned comment on this video is going to be the guy saying Grease, which funnily enough, he said that he likes to use the PPSH in semi-auto and someone told him to, just use an M1 carbine, and then the Grease man basically told him to mind his own business. But we are going to be comparing these two weapons, and me personally, I think both are fantastic weapons, but from a competitive point of view, I'm on team MP40. Some of you are on team PPSH, Map 49, I forgot Team K50M was a thing, but come on, let's be honest, what's more fun than having a handheld spooky or a more accurate and faster firing grease gun at the cost of the ammo not being more damaging? But I'll explain why each gun is good in their own right. But let's go over the stats of these weapons, and starting off with the PPSH, and the biggest selling point of this weapon is the insane rate of fire that makes hip firing so much fun. It is the literal embodiment of the term spray and pray, and it sprays out 7.62 by 25mm ammo at 909 rounds per minute. It is also the same ammo that is used for the TT43 and the MAT 49 Viet modified. The only weapons that come close to it in terms of rate of fire is the K50M, which is a Vietnamese PPSH, as well as a downgrade in my opinion, but I'm not saying the K50M is bad. I actually, unironically, no bullshit, enjoy that weapon. Also, the MAT 49 Viet modified has a rate of fire of 900 rounds per minute, but the PPSH is not capable of one-shotting, but I don't really find that too much of a problem considering you can pump out bullets faster than people have time to aim. But I got a question, right? For the people that use the PPSH, do you use drums or sticks? If you don't know the difference other than ammo count, I'm gonna lay out the stats for you. Also, let's ignore the types of traps each weapon gets and focus on the guns themselves, because I know that some people might prefer fugas or mines and that's why they pick the weapon, but let's focus on the weapons themselves. Also, like the video if you want to see a sapper class guide. Please, likes is all I have. Now, the way I perceive using sticks is technically an equivalent to folding in a weapon's stock, but instead of misaligned sights, you get less ammo and higher recoil, but you halve your ADS time. But I do find this helpful in situations where you need those extra milliseconds, such as head-to-head combat in situations, especially in like linear tunnel areas or back alley areas where you're going to be one-on-one. You want to get the drop on the person that has a shotgun first, and obviously, yeah, you can always just spray with the drums, but if you want to have that sticks experience and be able to aim quicker, then that's why I would use the sticks. But overall, I always and personally prefer the drums because, for starters, it's iconic in the way it looks. I don't care for the extra ADS time, but you do get two 71 round drums, and for some reason I wrote 60, but no, you get two 71 round drums, and it's like running around with a fucking chainsaw. It's so incredibly fun, and an additional benefit is that you are more accurate and there's less recoil, primarily because the more bullets, the heavier something is. I think that makes sense to me. I don't know about you, but that really does make sense. But burst firing and even firing in semi-auto mode isn't as hard as the K50M, and you can get consistent shots off at range, especially since the MOA being 10.48. It isn't that bad for submachine gun standards, but the shell velocity is 488 meters per second. I'm going to take penetration into account because one thing that I love using this weapon for is spraying down a whole wall and taking out anyone that is behind it. It's just so much fun, but it has the penetration capability to go through two people, but it can be a little bit inconsistent at times, but it can go through most surfaces other than like solid concrete. But looping back to the drum and stick debate, I know you can't judge someone based on looks, but the PPSH with the sticks, it looks weird. You know when someone gets a bad haircut, and like I've had plenty of them, believe me, and it's like you look at it and it just looks strange, it looks odd. That's what the PPSH with the sticks looks like to me, okay? It just looks so outlandish and out of place. That's why I like to also put the drums on it, because it looks like the true Soviet experience, if you know what I mean. Okay, that was completely pointless, but moving on to the MP40. From a competitive point of view, I would take this gun over the PPSH, but I have more fun using the PPSH, but the MP40 fires 9 by 19mm ammo at 500 rounds per minute, which is a little under half, or is it over half? I can't do it. I think it's over half. I can't do the math, and it takes somewhat of an opposite approach than the PPSH in that it's a lot more controllable, which is great since the gun doesn't have a semi-auto fire mode, but burst firing or firing of full auto at targets isn't too bad, but I found it a little bit inconsistent and that bullets would go God knows where. And can someone like sort of confirm me on this? And I want to know if you've experienced this. So the MP40, I always felt like there was something wrong with it, because I don't know if I'm just bad at the game, but it's like I fire at someone and it's like my bullets just don't hit the target, and I always get killed because of it. But that might be because of the MP40's slow rate of fire, and it just perhaps because like I've actually had it happen to me a fair few times, and I've been pretty frustrated about that. Never had that issue with the PPSH because I mean, you know, it's the fastest firing gun in the game, I'm pretty sure. But we're gonna loop back to the grease gun and Thompson debate, because the PPSH, I perceive it as sort of like a Thompson, right? It's nowhere near similar. I'm just saying when you compare all four guns, Thompson versus PPSH, they both have semi-auto fire mode, which does significantly help in my opinion at range. But yet again, the PPSH fires so fast, I'm sure one of the 71 bullets is going to land twice on the body or even the head. But yet again, I do like the slower rate of fire, and the fact that it isn't grease gun slow as well as doesn't have grease gun levels of shell velocity, for me it's within a good range, the MP40, where the gun doesn't have insane recoil, but it also doesn't lack that much when you're trying to get the damage out. I also love the foldable stock in the MP40, which is probably one of the main reasons why I prefer to use this gun over the PPSH, because the misaligned sights are probably one of the best in the game, because your view isn't too obstructed and you can line up shots pretty damn easily. The MP40 also has the best MOA in terms of submachine guns at 7.86, but for some reason, like I said before, it still feels like the bullets just don't go where you aim. But I mean, when you compare it to the grease gun and the PPSH, it is better, don't get me wrong. But you know, to sort of wrap everything up, it's like, do you want a gun that's freaking ridiculous rate of fire that can decimate at close range? You don't even need to aim with it. And if you switch it to semi-auto mode, it becomes pretty damn accurate. And I've had no trouble trying to take out targets at range. Sure, I might get the leading off here and there, but you know, pumping out 2 quick shots with laser accuracy, borderline laser accuracy, is a very strong point of the PPSH. But yet again, you're not going to use the submachine gun in semi-auto at close range, or unless you're the grease man. And I also find the high rate of fire in the PPSH to be too much of an overkill for me personally, unless I'm just running around trying to have fun. Competitively, MP40 has a good balance between, you know, rate of fire and accuracy in my opinion. And yeah, that is the way I play the game. A lot of people, especially from the community tab post that I made, majority of people prefer the PPSH, and you can't really dispute them on that because it is a very solid gun. But if you want to see other weapon comparison videos in Rising Storm 2 Vietnam, or perhaps you just like, you know, guns from the Vietnam War era and you just want to see them compared to in a video game such as RS2, please click the playlist on screen. Also, I am getting a weird chest pain and I don't know if I should be worried. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
He's still alive! He's still alive! He's still alive! He's fucking yeah! He's... What just happened?